In today's episode, we're going to talk about what Stoic is. I get this question all the time. People ask me, what does Stoic even mean? What's Stoic? And so I wanted to make a video specifically just answering that question, because it seems like people are really interested in the term Stoic, but they're not exactly sure what it means. We use it as an adjective or a noun. He's being so stoic right now. That person over there is such a stoic. But what does that actually mean? So I want to start with the definition of Stoic, and then we'll break down some of the misconceptions and some of the common misunderstandings that people have about Stoicism. So here's the formal definition. Stoic. It is an adjective that describes something relating to or denoting a member of a school of ancient Greek philosophy founded at Athens in the early 3rd century BC and later developed by Roman philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius. Okay, let's pause there for a second, because there's a lot to unpack in that sentence. So first off, yes, Stoicism was founded in Greece, but it was popularized by the Romans. The word Stoicism comes from the Greek word stoa poikol, which means painted porch. That's where the school was held. It was this kind of colonnaded walkway with painted walls. It was a public space where people could come and go and sit and talk and debate. And that's where the early Stoics taught. But Stoicism was popularized by the Romans. Zeno of Cydon, who founded Stoicism, he went around and he traveled to Athens, and that's where he started the school. But the main figures associated with Stoicism are really the Roman Stoics: Cato, Seneca, Epictetus, Musonius Rufus, and most famously Marcus Aurelius. So if you think of Stoicism as a Greek philosophy, you'd be wrong. It was popular in Greece, but its main proponents were Romans. You might also notice that I said it was a school, not a religion. Stoicism is a philosophy. It's a way of thinking. It's not a set of beliefs about the supernatural or the divine or any of those things. So when people say that they're Stoic, they're describing themselves as philosophical. They're saying, I think like a certain type of philosopher, this ancient school of thought. That's what Stoic means. Okay, so let's look at some of the misconceptions about what Stoicism is not. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or being unemotional. In fact, the ancient Stoics would say that emotions are part of what it means to be human. What Stoicism is about is having control over your emotions. It's about making sure that your emotions don't control you. So I often hear people say, oh, Stoicism is about being unemotional. No, it's not. The Stoics would say that it's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel fear, sadness, grief, joy, happiness. All these emotions are part of the human condition. But what Stoicism is about is making sure that those emotions don't control you. You can feel those emotions and still remain in control. So it's not about repressing your emotions. It's not about pretending that you don't have emotions. It's about controlling them. Another misconception is that Stoicism is this kind of cold, dead, no fun philosophy. In other words, if you're Stoic, you must not enjoy anything in life. But again, that's just not true. The Stoics would say that we should enjoy things, we should partake in the pleasures of life, but we should do so without being attached to them. Epictetus says that we should be like a rock, unmoved by the waves. The idea is that the waves are crashing over you, the wind and the rain and the storm is happening, but you're not moved. Why? Because the rock is anchored to the earth. The rock is connected to something larger than itself. It's part of the mountain, and that's how we should be with everything in life, even the good stuff. We should enjoy it, but we shouldn't become attached to it. And finally, Stoicism is not about optimism. It's not about thinking that everything's going to be fine. In fact, the Stoics would say that we should expect the opposite. Marcus Aurelius says, look at everything that happens and try to figure out, is it likely to happen again? Is this something that's likely to repeat itself? And if the answer is yes, prepare yourself for it. Don't think that everything's going to be fine. Don't be naive. Don't be overly optimistic. Instead, prepare yourself for whatever might happen. So those are some of the misconceptions, some of the things that Stoicism is not. Let me wrap up with 3 things that Stoicism is. First, Stoicism is about virtue. For the ancient Stoics, there were 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation, or those are the big ones. And then there are some lesser virtues that they talk about as well. But Stoicism is basically about living a life of virtue, living a good life, living a life according to nature, as Marcus Aurelius says. It's about doing the right thing, being the best version of yourself. Second, Stoicism is a philosophy of resilience. It's a philosophy for dealing with difficult situations, for overcoming obstacles, for persevering through hard times. The ancient Stoics would say that we should expect obstacles in life. We should expect suffering as part of the human condition. But they also say that we have the power to overcome those obstacles, to turn the bad stuff into good stuff, as Marcus Aurelius says. And that's what Stoicism is about. It's a philosophy of resilience, of perseverance, of overcoming obstacles. Finally, and probably most importantly, Stoicism is a philosophy of acceptance. It's a philosophy of making peace with the things that we cannot change. The Serenity Prayer says, "Grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." That's kind of what Stoicism is about. The Stoics would say that we can only control our own thoughts and actions. We can't control other people. We can't control external events. We can't control the past. We can't control the future. All we can control is ourselves. And so that's what Stoicism is about. It's making peace with the things we cannot change. It's accepting the things that we cannot control. That doesn't mean that we give up. It doesn't mean that we stop trying. It just means that we accept things as they are, and we focus on what we can control. So that's what Stoic means. A Stoic is someone who's trying to live a life of virtue, who is trying to be resilient in the face of obstacles, and who is trying to accept the things that he or she cannot change.